Hi, you're watching Floyd Steinberg's YouTube channel. A while ago I had a poll on my community tab asking you if you would rather use an assortment of desktop table synths plus some guitar pedals for creating music or a synthesizer workstation, and unsurprisingly most of you answered they would rather use the small synth setup because it offers more sonic flexibility. So we had an idea. Why not ask someone who is experienced in using small desktop synths, create a jam, send it over to me, and I will try to recreate that on Workstation synth. I'm really happy he agreed to do this with me, so please welcome Mr. Volcaniced.
Yeah, hello community. My name is Volcanized. I'm a YouTuber like Floyd Steinberg is. And you're right, our YouTube channel subscribers are nearly the same. And the last 2 years we grow together and did some things the same and some things the other way. You are really technical in music, and I'm just a musician improvising a lot of my things.
I think it's worth to mention it's quite impressive you grew your channel that large just with your musical improvisations and with your desktop synthesizers. You jam on them, so perhaps if you have the time after this video, please go to his channel and watch some, listen to some of his music. And maybe it's interesting to know when did this start? Did you start with the release of the Volcas, or was there some other history which inspired you to make music?
So let's talk about my history. Could be a long story because I'm really old, you know, I'm nearly 50, and my musical history starts with 18 in Offenbach. I don't know if you know this city near Frankfurt, the big city, but I was on the right, the other Frankfurt, Offenbach, and the real musical scene was growing in Offenbach, not in Frankfurt. Frankfurt was later, so Snap maybe comes from Offenbach, not from Frankfurt.
Oh, okay.
That's really funny. And other like Captain Hollywood and all the 90s bands, the one-hit wonders, and as you know, many of them were from Offenbach. And in the time when I lived in Offenbach, I got my first Amiga, my first Amiga 500, and so like many of our community members, they started with the Amiga or with the Atari long ago. That was my start, and it was not that kind of music I'm doing today. That was this Thunderdome things. So 160, 170 BPM and really hard music. But it was fun. And so I started with a DAW, you know, with a digital audio workstation on the Amiga. The music program was named Data Becker's Music Maker.
Oh, I remember that.
So I was not the tracker user. I was the Data Becker Music Maker user. And later, 2 or 3 years later, there was the first PlayStation. And the PlayStation, you can laugh here, but PlayStation was for me, a gaming console, but in the second place, it was a music console, because there was Floyd, there was music and Music 2000, and I felt inside that this is something I want to do more. But my problem from childhood on was I have had no money to buy the synthesizer from Yamaha, Roland, and Korg, and so on. And so I have always to use the DAW. Later then, the Reason 4.0 was I used long time for 5 or 6 years, and there I had my first release with Reason, and a song really commercial with a friend of mine heard that song, and she wrote a vocal for this, and we got to a studio and recorded this, but I never had hardware synths because I never had the money for this. And then I started.
I know that
in
well.
2015. I started with the hardware synths, with the cheapest hardware synths you ever can get. So I had the money for more expensive synths, but I didn't buy them because I said for myself, okay, I start with the Volcas and let's see what happens. And the point is why Volcas till today, because I just realized that I get better and better in the limitation of functions. So if I have 3 knobs, I do music with 3 knobs. This is no problem for me. And if I see Ableton with 4 trillion knobs, I cannot do that. I stop it before I start to do music. Less knobs, less functions pushes creativity.
Alright, that's the thing I think most of our viewers can get behind. Okay, so thanks for this introduction. Now about what we're going to do today. Volcaniced is all about these desktop synths, and there are, as I already said, some really great jams on your page or on your channel.
Thank you.
My centerpiece is a Workstation. Yeah, so the plan is you will go ahead and create the jam. In some weeks you will send it to me, I will listen to it, identify some important musical ideas in your jam, and then try to recreate them using my keyboard. And then we'll get back together again and see what the results are.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. If you had said to me, I use Ableton and you use what you want, I had to say, no, I don't want to. But this is fair enough. Definitely.
Yeah. So the rules are you can use whatever you like and whatever you have. And I am confined to my 20-year-old Workstation, and I have to do what's possible.
And do you want a hard one or a not so hard one? What do you want?
When I take a look at your channel, I think your audience is into these more spacey, relaxed jams. So I think it's a good idea to do one in this direction, and then we'll see.
So it's like my name a synth and I jam for you, but the other way around.
Yeah.
I named it synth and I jam for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
then.
and that's what we'll do. And perhaps if this video gets some more views than usual, perhaps we'll do it the other way around. So I will create something and you will have to try to recreate that. But that's a thing for the future, perhaps. Let's see how this goes.
Okay. Then let's go.
Here we go.
Several days later.
Okay, so today Volcaniced notified me his jam is finished, so now I'm going to listen to this and try to analyze how he did it, and I will also give you a short overview over the most important musical ideas in his jam. Here we go.
A few minutes later.
Okay, so here's what I think my remix of this jam should cover. First and foremost, of course, the main motive played with the saw waves, which is repeated throughout the whole jam. And of course, this arpeggiated bass line. And the drum beat, which resembles this one. And of course, this small melody occurring in the middle of the jam, played on arpeggiated notes. And finally, there should be a healthy dose of light tweaking, for example, opening the filter, closing the filter, and other things. Okay, this sounded pretty good, and if I were to make a guess, I'd say he used the Micro Freak, the Volca bass and the Volca drums for this jam, and his GFI specular reverb pedal. Yeah, okay, that's my guess. Let's see how I actually did it. Here's a statement.
I'm going to use 3 Volcas. 1, 2, 3. And we have here the Volca drum and the Volca keys and the Volca bass. These are my 2 favorite Volcas. This is the only Volca I use for beats. Okay, I could use the sample, but this is more easy for me at the moment for this jam. I want to focus on the melody things. And what I can show you here for the first time is my really nice MyVolts cable. I can power up 5 Volcas with 1 USB connection. This is really, really nice if you are outside and you want to use a power bank, and this works really good. So yeah, as you can see, all 3 Volcas got powered, and I connect the sound here and here, and so that's it. That's my setup for this jam.
I was wrong. Okay, so this is my Yamaha EX5 from 1989, 23-year-old Workstation. Don't confuse workstations with arranger keyboards. Arranger keyboards are keyboards designed for entertaining a group of people with preset patterns and preset sounds, but a workstation is a full-blown synth with a sequencer built into it, so you can create complete tracks using the high polyphony and high multi-timbrality of these instruments. So yeah, the first thing I did was create the sound volcanized using this jam. This is a saw wave. So let's see how I did that. Let's speed through this. I don't want to bore you. We can access the menu by pressing edit, and we've got 4 saw wave oscillators here going on. You can see I've chosen the sample based engine, and I slightly detuned them so we get a slightly fatter sound. We have low pass filter going on all of the oscillators, and we've got low high shelf equalizer on one of the oscillators. And so we emphasize the bass. Then we've got a short release time and a short decay time on the amplitude envelope. And there's also saw wave LFO on one of the oscillators, which allows me to play continuous notes while holding it down and adjusting the knob here. Okay. And now I've set up a control scheme for the 6 knobs here, so I can tweak the sound while playing live. And we've got an effects section. This was one main problem. Volcanized has a really great reverb pedal in this jam, and this machine is very old, so I had to improvise. So I've routed a stereo delay effect into a plate reverb with a long release time, and also I added an amp simulator which will slightly distort the sound. You can see here is a tube amp, and that amp then goes through a stereo chorus. So yeah, you've already heard the resulting sound, and there is this motif repeated throughout the whole track. And now I can use these knobs to tweak the sound. Let's see what they do. The first one controls filter cutoff frequency. Second one, filter resonance. Okay, third one is detuning the oscillators. This is the release time, so if I dial this down, the release time will get longer. And here we've got this LFO control, and then here's the amount of chorus. And there's also on the modulation wheels we've got the attack time and filter envelope amount. Yeah, and that's it. So yeah, now I can use the sound and try to create this jam. And I've created a performance here, which is a collection of sounds I can use within a jam. And you can see I've inserted this sound on 5 different tracks, so I can use it 5 times separately. And there's also a drum kit on one of those tracks, sounds like this. And finally, here's a comparison. I took the main musical ideas found in both jams and put them side by side for you to judge which one sounds better or worse, or which one sounds different. Obviously, they sound very different. Here we go. Okay, so sound and reverbs are set up, so now it's time to try to reproduce this jam. I will use the pattern sequencer in a 4-bar loop, and I will just record the main motive live, and then I will switch between some pre-recorded patterns and improvise on top of them. Yeah, and that was my attempt at reproducing a desktop table synthesizer jam on a workstation. I hope you found this interesting and useful, and if you did, please consider subscribing to my channel, and also don't forget to visit Volcanized's channel. He has a lot of these jams and they're all pretty good. Yeah, and as always, thanks for watching. See you again very soon. Bye bye. Bye.